Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge.
All I got is bourbon.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Hey, we're back at it with always an interesting topic. So I was talking to a buddy of mine, and I always love these discussions, right? Because obviously I'm sipping whiskey often and hanging out in different groups and so forth. So a friend of mine said, hey, Judge, do you think all NDPs, so non-distilling producers, so companies that source whiskey from like bigger distilleries and then sell it under their own brand, do you think all NDPs are for the most part the same, right? He's like, Judge, I mean, they're pretty much all using MGP, maybe some other whiskey from like Jim Beam and some other places like, Bardstown Bourbon Company and so forth. He's like, are they all truly the same? And I'm going to say, actually, that is an incorrect statement, at least as it relates to my opinion, in my opinion only. I do not believe all NDPs are created the same. I really don't. And I'm actually going to focus on one NDP for the majority of this episode, one that I think is doing a great thing, right? So let me be crystal clear. But I'll focus on them later on in the episode. But let me just kind of give you my background, my thought on it, I should say. Let me give you my thoughts on the whole, are all NDPs created the same? I would say, first and foremost, if you have a ton of cash, anybody can create like their own whiskey brand, right? You can create it, you can source whiskey if you have a ton of cash. It might not end up being the best product, but can you buy whiskey? Absolutely. Anybody can buy whiskey, throw a label on it and have it out on shelves or online in a matter of X number of months, right? But that's probably not who you want to be buying whiskey from, more than likely. So what I typically look for is the experience. Do the owners of these NDPs, have they worked at a distillery where they know the ins and outs of the entire like whiskey making process? Have they ever owned like a liquor store or was a manager of a liquor store where they did like, single barrels? They understand the whole concept of whiskey, bourbons and rye and wheated, finished whiskeys and so forth, so how is their palate essentially? And or have they just had tons of experience just in the liquor industry and specifically the bourbon industry? If someone has all that, sure, then that might be a brand that I might at least try, buying a bottle from. But I also want to know, where do they typically get their whiskey from? Where are they sourcing it from? What's their blending history? Have they ever actually blended whiskey? Just because you can take a couple bottles and blend them together does not make you an expert blender. Let that be clear. Make sure that's clear for sure. And the last thing I would say is there are a lot of NDPs out there that are churning and burning, right? If you think about it, you buy a whole bunch of whiskey, you need to make a profit. So you want to grab it, and they throw it in bottles, throw their label on it, and get it out the door. Those, again, might be some brands you may want to say, you know what, I might want to hold off on those. I'm not going to say who those brands are because in my opinion, 2026, I'm a kinder, more gentle judge. All right, so let's focus now on a brand that I think is honestly doing a fantastic job. They know their stuff. They aren't NDP, but they're very open about it, very transparent. And this is a brand that I stand behind. Why? The reason why is I will say not only does the owner knows like his stuff, but more important, I've tried at least 4 or 5 different bottles, right, from them. Bourbons, rye, finished, not finished, and all of them throughout my experience of owning them and having them have always been like amazing quality. Hence the reason why I did a barrel pick with them, because they are truly fantastic. So I'm going to bring out this brand and we'll talk about them a little bit. So this is Old Louisville. This is actually my single barrel. It's already sold out, so I'm not even promoting it from that standpoint. This is already sold out. We sold this out earlier this week. It's ridiculously good, first and foremost. But what do we know about Old Louisville? So Old Louisville is owned by 2 owners, Amin and Beth Carude, right? So husband and wife, but Amin really is like the face of the brand. So Amin Carude, the owner of Old Louisville. So his background, he actually owned a liquor store for many years. So understands just the liquor business as a whole, above and beyond bourbon, rye, and so forth. But he understands just the spirits industry. As part of that, he's picked hundreds of single barrels for his store. So he's gone through hundreds of different single barrels, picked them for his store so that his customers can have access to great whiskey and so forth, right? So he understands that whole part of it. And he's also picked, bourbons, rye, weeded, finished product or finished bourbons and ryes as well. So he has a very refined palate. So that part of it I think is equally important. The next thing I will say about Old Louisville, so they're based out of Kentucky, first and foremost, based out of Kentucky, and shocker, they're based in Louisville. The next thing about them, which I think is very interesting as well, is the fact that if you remember earlier on, I talked about the whole churning and burning through inventory, and that happens with a lot of NDPs. They'll buy 20 to 30, 40 barrels, bottle it right up, not even age it, just bottle it up, throw a label on it, and call it a day. He is not doing that. Amin is not doing that. I've been to his warehouse, his rick house. He has hundreds of barrels in stock, actually at a couple different places. He has hundreds of barrels in stock. So he gets whiskey in, he ages it for X number of years, and then eventually it'll become either a single barrel, a small batch, a blended whiskey, whatever the outcome is. But the point is, he's not churning and burning. So when you think about Old Louisville, the one thing that should come to mind when you see it either on a shelf or online, think quality. Definitely think quality when it comes to Old Louisville. Hence the reason why I did a barrel pick with him, because I had tried numerous different single barrels from Old Louisville, and every time I was like, damn, this is good. So here we are. What else do we know about Old Louisville? So from an availability standpoint, definitely slightly harder to find. I mean, if you're in Kentucky, you'll find it obviously on the shelf because obviously everything's in Kentucky. But other states, probably a little bit harder to find. But you can get their whiskey online directly at their website, and I'll fly in the website so you have it. You can get it online directly at their website. Other websites, online retailers such as like Shared Pour, Bourbon Outfitters, maybe even like Sillbox, they carry their stuff as well from time to time. But the best thing for them is typically go directly to the website. If they have something in stock, more than likely you can kind of get it there. And then the last thing I would say before I dive into an overview of my single barrel is when you think about Old Louisville, the majority of their products I would say are just unfinished, just straight, bourbons aged 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, whatever the year it is. Straight bourbons, straight ryes, but they do have some finishes. So I've had like their a maple cask finish before, so very sweet. I've had some of their wines like sherry and port, etc. So he does a fantastic job of finishing whiskeys. I will give Amin credit. Again, the man has a fantastic palate, really good palate. All right. So my single barrel was 11-year-old. I think it was actually technically like 11 and a half year, but 11-year-old single barrel that we picked. Me and my patrons, we went on site there back in December, and we picked it, and it was, I'm talking fantastic. We call this one Certified Dusty. I don't have the sticker on here, it's on the back, but we called it Certified Dusty. The reason why, it tastes like a whiskey that was around back in like the 1950s. So close your eyes. Imagine you're sitting in a cigar room, cigar bar, cigar/bourbon bar in the 1950s, smoking a cigar. You're sipping some fantastic whiskey in the 1950s. This bottle right here, this barrel, tastes truly like a Dusty. It has that deep oak, deep leather. It's everything you want in a bottle of whiskey. Straight bourbon, not finished, aged 11 years. 118.4 proof. This was a short barrel, by the way. This one only ended up producing about 100 bottles. This is probably one of my favorite single barrels I've ever brought forward to my community. I'm telling you, I've only had this bottle for not even a week, and I've already put some damage to it. This bottle, this barrel, truly amazing. Hey, if you haven't checked out Old Louisville, please make sure you check them out. This is a brand that I absolutely stand behind. Fantastic whiskey. All different price points depending on what you're looking for. Check out Old Louisville. Hey, my friends, until the next time, peace, cheers, most important, salute. Take care. Woo! Straight fire. Peace.